This film is based on a true story. Jennifer Farber-Dullos, a mother of 5 children, is going through a divorce with her husband. She finally moved out from him and wants to start a new life from scratch. On the same evening, the police arrived at her house because Jennifer disappeared without a trace. The police searched her house, and the friends and relatives are convinced that something bad happened, as she would never leave her children. Audrey, Jennifer's best friend, spoke with the detective, telling about Fotis, Jennifer's husband, who was not a very good person. Audrey recalled events from 1999 in New York when Jennifer was preparing to move to Colorado, hoping to focus on her writing. It was in Colorado where Jennifer met her future husband in 2003. There was an instant affection between them, and they talked for hours. Fotis was surprised that Jennifer was not married, considering her attractiveness and success. It turned out that Jennifer and Fotis had known each other for a long time. They went to college together, and now fate has brought them together again after so many years. Later, Jennifer showed Fotis her luxurious home, mentioning that the parents were helping her. Jennifer's father is a successful banker. Fotis didn't stall for time and began to openly show his affection for Jennifer. She was certain they would never meet again. In 2004, Jennifer moved back to New York. Audrey is very happy to have her friend around again. Jennifer admitted that life in Colorado was not for her. Now she wants to find a worthy man and start a family, as she is already 35 years old. Suddenly, Jennifer received a call from Fotis, who happened to be in New York as well. They agreed to meet, but later that evening, Jennifer canceled the date as she felt unwell. She never expected to see Fotis at her doorstep an hour later with a bouquet of flowers and delicious food. For Jennifer, such care from a man was unusual. Besides, Fotis possessed incredible charisma and a sense of humor. Soon the couple decided to get married. Jennifer tried on her wedding dress, feeling like a princess. Audrey was happy for her friend, however something overshadows this moment. Jennifer's parents were against the wedding because Fotis was neither famous nor wealthy. However, for Jennifer, that didn't matter. The most important thing was that she and Fotis loved each other. Audrey shared the parents' concerns, as Jennifer had been dating Fotis for less than a year. Perhaps he was marrying her for money. Despite all the doubts, the wedding took place, attended by only the closest one. The events then take us to the present day, in the year 2019. The police are still searching Jennifer's house for clues. The detectives have no idea where the woman has disappeared to. In 2010, Fotis and Jennifer were happily married. They had 4 children. Motherhood brought joy to Jennifer. Life seemed wonderful. Fotis founded an elite construction company, which was financed by Jennifer and her parents. However, Jennifer loved Fotis too much to notice his greedy intentions. Audrey often visited her friend. One day Jennifer shared that her husband is always busy with business and rarely stays at home. She was very tired and had to put her writing aside. Despite everything, Jennifer is happy because she always dreamt of having a family. Now the children are the most important thing to her, and everything else doesn't matter. However, conflicts began to arise between the spouses. Fotis often travels, and this is very displeasing to his wife, who wants some help from her husband. Jennifer has tried to get back to writing. It helps her let emotions out. During one of the trips, Fotis flirted with a woman at a bar. Suddenly the bartender informed him that his card was declined. Fotis realized that the wife had restricted his access to their family budget. Jennifer had long suspected her husband of infidelity. When Fotis returned from the trip, he was very angry and demanded an explanation from his wife. Jennifer made it clear that she wouldn't tolerate such treatment. Before getting married, she knew that she would have to give up something, but Fotis apparently didn't want to accept that. In the evening, Jennifer tried to talk heart-to-heart with the husband. To her surprise, Fotis apologized to her and promised that it wouldn't happen again. However, Jennifer wasn't sure of the sincerity of his words. One day Audrey visited her again. By that time, Jennifer and Fotis had their 5th child. Audrey still doubted whether Fotis was the right person for Jennifer, but the friend assured her that everything was fine between them. When Fotis came home from work, he was in a bad mood. Jennifer noticed it and realized that there were problems in her husband's business, although he denied it. Fotis doesn't like the wife interfering in his affairs. Jennifer didn't expect such a rude response from her husband. Later, as always, he apologized for his words. It happens again and again, and Jennifer no longer knows what to believe. Soon Fotis went to Miami on a supposed business trip. There he met a woman named Michelle, who started flirting with him. One day Jennifer caught her husband with Michelle. Fotis introduced her to the wife as a new employee of his company. Tears welled up in Jennifer's eyes as her father had just passed away. Next, the events take us to January 2017. The spouses had just returned from the funeral. Their relationship was becoming more and more strained. Jennifer was shocked when Fotis said that perhaps her mother would be much more willing to invest in his business than her father. Of course, Jennifer didn't want to take money from her mother to cover the husband's expenses. Besides, she made it clear that she knew about his affair with Michelle. Fotis didn't even bother denying it. He is confident that Jennifer will never file for divorce because she is almost 50 and has not succeeded in anything other than having a family. When Fotis left with a smug look, Jennifer couldn't hold back her tears. Jennifer shared this with Audrey, who advised her to leave Fotis as soon as possible. But Jennifer doesn't want to get a divorce because she fears being seen as a failure by her family and acquaintances. During another conflict, Fotis lost his temper. Jennifer got scared and ran away, locking herself in the adjacent room. If it weren't for the nanny, who knows how it could have ended. Jennifer's crying, unable to believe that her life has come to this. A week later, Fotis tried to talk to her, but Jennifer doesn't want his apologies. She realizes that their marriage is beyond saving. When the husband left for work, Jennifer took the children and went to live with her mother. Soon Fotis received a court summons, which infuriated him, and he immediately called his wife. Jennifer informed him of her intention to divorce. She is afraid of Fotis, knowing that he is capable of anything. Jennifer moved into a rented house in Connecticut. Audrey helped her unpack and provided support throughout. After leaving her husband, Jennifer finally returned to writing. Her novel was about an unhappy woman and her failed marriage. On weekends, Jennifer as agreed brought the children to their father. Jennifer knows that Michelle and her daughter live here. She doesn't like it since it's her home too. However, Fotis made it clear that he would do whatever he wanted in that house. Soon the court took place and ruled that full custody of the children would go to the mother. Of course, this infuriated Fotis. This behavior convinced the judge that Fotis was dangerous, and he was forced to leave with nothing. However, Jennifer's life didn't become peaceful. Fotis constantly came to her and threatened. Soon both he and Michelle received another court summons. It turned out that Jennifer's mother filed a lawsuit against him for $2.5 million. Moreover, Fotis had another $7 million in debt. He is convinced that Jennifer won't be satisfied until she leaves him with nothing. Fotis told Michelle that he wants Jennifer to just disappear. Meanwhile, she continues to write her novel. Jennifer hasn't felt this happy in a long time. Fotis was outraged when he learned that the court appointed an observer who would be present at all his meetings with the children. He believes that his wife did it to spite him. At another court hearing, Fotis yelled that the wife left him with nothing and ruined his reputation. The judge sided with Jennifer, considering Fotis impulsive and dangerous. Audrey, who was present at the trial, was happy for her friend. Disgruntled Fotis was about to follow them, but Michelle stopped him in time. That day, Audrey saw her friend for the last time. Now, no one knows what happened to Jennifer. Detectives summoned Michelle for questioning. According to her, on that morning she dropped her daughter off at school and then went to Fotis' construction site. If Jennifer's words are to be believed, they spent the rest of the day together, cleaning the house. The detective said that on that day, Jennifer took the children to school. After that, she returned home to prepare for a doctor's appointment. However, someone was apparently waiting for her at home. Later, the nanny found Jennifer's purse on the floor. Jennifer's breakfast remained untouched. Stephanie searched for her everywhere, but Jennifer seemed to have vanished. Attempts to reach Jennifer by phone were unsuccessful. Stephanie realized that something bad had happened and called Jennifer's doctor, but it turned out that she missed today's appointment. Stephanie had no choice but to take the children to their grandmother. Audrey, after hearing about the situation, arrived immediately and called the police, explaining the situation. Officers arrived within minutes and cordoned off the house. Stephanie found it strange that almost all the rolls of paper towels were missing from the house. The nanny is convinced that Fotis is involved in this. Audrey fully shares her concerns. Suddenly, Stephanie received a call from Fotis, who said he wanted to see the children tomorrow. He seemed not at all upset about the news of Jennifer's disappearance. However, the police forbade Fotis from seeing the children. Moreover, he became the primary suspect in this case. Fotis met with detectives in the presence of his lawyer. Despite the protests, detectives confiscated his phone. A large-scale search operation was launched for the missing Jennifer. Evidence pointing to a terrible crime that took place in her home was found. The detectives traced Fotis' route on that fateful day, leading them to the most disadvantaged area in the city. Meanwhile, Fotis ordered one of his employees to urgently replace the seats in his car. The detectives found evidence in the trash bins. There is no doubt now that the worst has happened to Jennifer. Fotis and Michelle attended a party at a friend's house. Many wonder why Fotis is partying while his legal wife is missing. Fotis got scared when he learned from the friend that the police had reported finding evidence on the news. A search was conducted in the house, and Michelle is outraged that the police won't let them in. Officers hoped to get an answer to where Jennifer might be. Finally, one of the detectives found a lead. Soon the police stormed the hotel room where Michelle and Fotis were staying. Both of them were arrested, accused of tampering with physical evidence. Michelle continues to deny her involvement and retold her story as she did during the initial interrogation. At that time, the detectives showed her a piece of paper found in the trash bin at the house. It was a pre-prepared text from Michelle and Fotis to tell the detectives the same version of events. They indeed crafted their legend well but made several mistakes. The detective showed the woman footage from surveillance cameras, proving that Michelle and Fotis did not spend that day at home as they claimed. In the footage, it is visible how Fotis throws a bag with Jennifer's belongings into the trash bin. Michelle was also in the same car. Eventually Fotis and Michelle were released on bail. Their lawyer gave a comment to journalists, stating that his clients are not guilty. Fotis remained silent while the lawyer claimed that Jennifer was in depression and might have committed a rash act. Audrey intervened, loudly stating that it's complete nonsense. Soon Fotis made an appearance for television. According to him, he and Jennifer always loved and respected each other, but they had different life plans. That became the reason for their decision to divorce. Michelle packs her things, intending to leave Fotis. Her life is ruined because of him. On the same day, Fotis saw photos of Jennifer near the house, as well as candles and flowers that people brought in a sign of support. Everyone in town despises him and considers him a criminal. Fotis was left alone with this situation. The court ruled that custody of the children would go to their maternal grandmother. After the court hearing, Audrey expressed everything she thought to Fotis. She called him a narcissist and an opportunist who hasn't achieved anything in life. According to Audrey, Fotis took Jennifer's life because he lost control of the situation and lost. DNA results were ready, confirming that the items found in the trash bin belonged to Jennifer. In addition, the missing seats from Fotis's car were found. Everything points to his guilt. Meanwhile, Fotis was placed under house arrest. He is annoyed by the memorial near the house set up by the townspeople. The lawyer outlined the situation to Fotis, telling him that he would be arraigned at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Fotis realized that it's all over and that he will go to prison. At night he would get drunk and look at pictures from his travels. Now that will never happen again. Morning has come. Fotis awaits his arrest. At some point the decision came to him to leave his life voluntarily. He left a farewell note claiming his innocence. It's already 10 in the morning, and Fotis still hasn't appeared in court. When the police arrived at his house, they found Fotis unconscious. Later, it was known that Fotis is in a coma. Nobody knows if he will survive. Audrey hopes that Fotis will face justice. Presumably on that fateful day, he left his car on the roadside and rode a bicycle to Jennifer's house. When the woman returned home, she had no idea she was trapped there. Later, Fotis tried to get rid of the traces of the crime, but it didn't help him. After that, Fotis loaded the trash bags and the bicycle into Jennifer's second car, which was later found in the woods. Hearing this, Audrey couldn't hold back her tears. She lost her best friend, who was like family to her. In the final shot, we see Fotis pass away in the hospital. Then, a voiceover tells us about the real heroes of this story. Michelle was arrested and is currently awaiting trial. Jennifer was never found.